If you look at folks working from home, they certainly feel happier to work from home. In the data, what we see is typically if you're working from home maybe 3 days a week, that we see the maximum happiness and work satisfaction and kind of life satisfaction scores.
One of the hottest topics is hybrid work and remote work. And the academic who's led the research influencing what we think and know about it is Professor Nicholas Bloom, Professor of Economics at Stanford University. I went to visit him on campus and I began by asking him about the state of play right now.
To give you a rough overview of where we are, 60% of Americans, Northern Europeans actually, is a pretty global developed country number, can't work from home at all. So I think of people that work in McDonald's, driving cars and hospitals, security, etc. They just have to come in every day. There's another 30% that are hybrid. They're typically working from home 2 days a week. And then there's the remaining 10% that are fully remote. And they're working from home, every day, day in, day out, week in, week out. When you add those last two groups, you get to about 28% of days.
So that data sounds quite conclusive. But not everyone is on the same page when it comes to managing the way hybrid works in practice. What else does the data show?
If you look in the data, employees typically want to work from home about 3 days a week. We're currently doing for graduates, professionals, something like 2 days a week. If you interview senior managers, they want more like 1. So you have, there's like it's almost like haggling, the employees want 3, the senior managers want 1, they kind of settled at about 2. To be honest, I think 2 is about where it's roughly right. So you think about a typical week, Monday, Friday I'm at home, I save in the commute, it's quiet, I recharge, I have time to do email, reading, writing. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, say I'm in the office, a lot of mentoring, meetings, presentations. So that seems to roughly work. That's where things are settling out.
You've called what we're experiencing a mass social experiment in working arrangements, and the speed and scale of it is what's surprising and important, isn't it?
Yes, I honestly don't think there's been anything this big and this fast probably since World War II. What we saw is millions of men went off to fight, millions of women were called in to work in factories, shops, governments. And society discovered, it seems obvious now, but wasn't obvious back then, that look, women can do these jobs just as well as men, in many cases better. And so that kind of stuck. So the men came back, but female labour force participation jumped and has been rising ever since. That's the only other thing that's similar, because the pandemic generated this massive jump that everyone kind of turned around and said, wow, this work from home, look, it isn't perfect, but it's, we should be doing a lot more of it than we used to.
There's another significant shift at work, of course, and that's AI.
AI has a really big intersection with work from home in the following sense. If you are hybrid, you're coming into the office, let's say 3 days a week. AI probably helps you out. It makes you more productive. There's Copilot for coding. It helps you design and write stuff. So for hybrid workers, I don't see in the near term it's really a threat. I think if anything, it's maybe supporting their job. It's very different if you're fully remote. If you're fully remote, AI potentially, particularly if you're doing a repetitive, relatively basic job, could replace your job. So what I mean is, if you think of AI, the software side of it, or the visual side, or the voice side is really pretty good. I could be, if this was a Zoom call, I could almost just about be AI, and you may, after I didn't respond very well, you may figure it out. If I was in person, the robot that replaced me is like vast and clunky, and it's just never going to work. So if you think of data entry, call centers, HR, payroll, this kind of thing that's fully remote, a lot of this may be replaced actually by AI in 5 to 10 years.
What has been the most surprising piece of data you've uncovered in all of this research?
It's almost surprising that I would say this, which is that work from home has worked so much. So I did a study back in 2010 to 2012 that showed this enormous positive productivity impact on work from home. So certainly if you'd asked me, if there's a global pandemic and everyone is forced home, what will happen? I would have probably said it would be chaos. The economy will collapse, we can't do it. As it's happened, it's worked out surprisingly well. And actually by 2023, we're probably better off. I think productivity is a bit higher from some folks being hybrid. So I've just been amazed about how well it's worked. And it makes you think, what else is out there we should change? Maybe, long summer holidays, maybe, 5-day week, maybe organizational structures and firms. Some of all of this stuff could change, and we'll discover we're much better off.